New Year presidential speech. People are reacting. Why? Why are they complaining when this speech is not a policy speech? It's still because of the issue of the Plateau killing. Now, another strike has happened again in Plateau State.
People say it was low on detail, but the question people also ask is, it's not a policy speech, it's just a New Year, feel-good speech and all of that. But I feel it missed some critical points. I also hit the nail on some critical points. And only time will tell if this resonates with a lot of people.
And the president is yet to visit Plateau State. The vice president was there, and other stakeholders were there. But then, the president is yet to visit Plateau State. And even in his New Year message to Nigerians, he could not even address this particular menace.
The Plateau, that was conspicuously absent in that speech. I said, well, the president maybe did not need to go. They are having sent a very powerful delegation. But to they speak to Nigerians on New Year Day and not reflect his awareness and understanding of the killings on the Plateau, and considering the fact that only yesterday, 5 more persons were murdered in Boko's local government area, just shows and confirms how dated that speech is.
That has before Nigerians. Now, somewhere far in Vatican City, the Pope of Roman Catholic came out to give a speech, the New Year speech, while praying for his people. And in that speech, he talks about the massacre that happened in Nigeria and in Plateau State. This is so bad that even far away from Nigeria, somebody could give a speech to acknowledge what is happening in Nigeria, and even condoling with the family that lost their loved ones. But here, the president, the persons who took an oath of office to protect life and property, could not even acknowledge or even say anything in regards to that.
Cari fratelli e sorelle, purtroppo la celebrazione del Natale in Nigeria è stata segnata da gravi violenze nello stato di Plateau, con molte vittime. Prego per loro e le loro famiglie, che Dio liberi la Nigeria da questi orrori.
You see? But in all of this, let's take a look at what Reuben Abati said. Remember that Reuben Abati once worked with Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, and he understands how these things work in terms of press briefing by the president and all of that. Take a look to see how he totally exposed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because this is the highest joke of the century.
People say it was low on detail, but the question people also ask is, it's not a policy speech, it's just a New Year, feel-good speech and all of that. But I feel it missed some critical points. I also hit the nail on some critical points. And only time will tell if this resonates with a lot of people.
All right. Well, what time will tell, that is very clear. So this morning, is that the speech delivered this morning by the president is dated. It is too obvious that that speech was recorded before the president came to Lagos, because the speech is not contemporaneous enough. And that, I think, is in itself, a scandal. It shows gross indolence on the part of those people who manage the president. And I speak as a person who had gone through this process before. Now, you could see from that delivery that since the speech was recorded in Abuja, I imagine, that there have been developments in the country. A major development will be the killings on the Plateau. That was conspicuously absent in that speech. I had said, well, the president maybe did not need to go. They are having sent a very powerful delegation. But to they speak to Nigerians on New Year Day and not reflect his awareness and understanding of the killings on the Plateau, and considering the fact that only yesterday, 5 more persons were murdered in Boko's local government area, just shows and confirms how dated that speech is. And I put it down to the indolence of his managers. Because wherever the president is, there's enough facility to update speeches, to change recordings. It's not as if it's a lengthy presentation. They could have updated the speech, do a fresh recording yesterday, and it will have been up to date. The other major omission is that on Saturday, the National Assembly of Nigeria passed the 2024 appropriation bill, although there are many problems with that, as analysts have pointed out. specifically Dr. Dele Shubowale, saying that that budget is dead on arrival, and that the only indications that you could pick out of it as a professional economist is scarcity, uncertainty, and chaos, and that 2024 will be a more difficult year for Nigerians. But the president will have piggybacked on the details of what the Senate did and also addressed that, because that's also something very fresh. But there was no reference to that in that speech. Now, to the details. The president said we voted for him because he promised us renewed hope, and that he's working hard at it and is committed to delivering on that. And he said a number of things that are important to him. Food scarcity, to address food scarcity, to address electricity supply, to address the refineries. Would the refineries work? There's no certainty in that regard. And maybe that's the uncertainty that Dele Shubowale is talking about. Now he's talking about food supply. What is the guarantee that you can have food supply if there is still insecurity in the country? The president says in that speech, in fact, that security in the country has improved. Now, how do you say that to Nigerians just less than a week after people were being killed almost on a daily basis in over 58 communities in Plateau? How does that provide a justification for the claim that you make? He said electricity supply. At a time when power generation, power supply, power distribution in Nigeria is in the dark alley of 4,000 megawatts for over 200 million people. So how is that improvement in power supply? The president also talked about his commitment to attracting foreign investment, FDI, at a time within the same week that the National Bureau of Statistics announced to us that capital importation to the country has fallen, and that 27 states of the Federation attracted zero importation of capital. And at a time where we've been told that companies are leaving Nigeria, P&G has left, Jumia may follow, ShopRite is following, other companies like that are leaving Nigeria in droves. Is this contradiction not clear to the president and the drafters of his message on New Year Day? Hi.
What do you think about Bola Ahmed Tinubu's style of governance? Do you believe that this will take Nigeria anywhere? Do you believe that Nigeria under Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we come into suppression? Haven't seen a lot of agitation already coming from, especially the eastern part, after so much demolition going on in the southwest of property belonging to those from the east, and as well as some of the businessmen that have been dealt with under this APC administration, who are also from the east. What do you think? Some of us believe that Nigeria is one, and we hope to remain so. But then, are we actually, or the government, or the people in the helms of affairs, are they actually doing things that will make Nigerians think that Nigeria is actually one? Let's have your take at the comment section. Thank you so much for watching.